Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I am Jess, and today I'm going to be doing a quick garden tour. I have some iced tea that I added a little bit of cream to. I will include a link down below to the tea box that I got this month if you're interested. This is actually in my vegetable garden, so I wanted to start here. I will post the last video of the tour down below in the description box. So if you want to see how far it's come, you can check that out. But we're going to start in the vegetable garden because I think that's the most exciting for me right now. So these are 3 birdhouses that my grandpa actually made. So I'm going to be trying to find spots for those. We have one birdhouse that has a little bit of a larger opening for a larger bird, and then 2 that are a little bit smaller for some smaller birds. So hopefully we can find a cute spot for those. Alright, so this is the overview from the garden shed. It doesn't look too different, but I know that a lot of the plants have gotten a lot bigger these last few weeks. So I think this is where I started last time. This bed has beet seeds in it, but they haven't come up yet. I have moved my peppers and tomatoes out here just to get them a little bit more acclimated. I'm starting to harden them off. Again, all of these trellises have spinach and snow peas planted up in them, which are all about ready to touch the trellis. In this bed, we have a bed of white tulips. When I did the math, I paid $2 for all of these tulips in this bed here, which they looked much more glorious a few weeks ago. They're all starting to get a little bit wrinkly and crunchy and weathered, but they still look really pretty. And then under here we have thalia daffodils, I believe are what they called. And here is a overshot view of the trellis area, which is super cute. We have 2 bike wheels and a little bitty birdhouse on top that does have a little family in it. If we get closer, you can kind of see the flowers a little bit better. They're really pretty, and all of them had 2 flowers on each stem. Underneath the trellis, we have planted some more peas. I have thrown in a few different seeds that are not up yet. And then in this front, we have carrots. Then in this bed off to the side, this has some more of the thalia daffodils in it. They're just really pretty and delicate and white, and some of the other stuff is starting to die back. Here is a shot of the other trellis. It's starting to get a little bit bigger as well, but those 2 are definitely the ones that are slower. And then this cracks me up. So this is our strawberry bed, and we do have a neat bird net around it to keep those critters out from eating our berries. But this side gets less sun, so as you can see, there are not very many flowers growing, but there are plenty of leaves. And then this side has tons of flowers growing, so they're doing really well. Over here especially, this spot gets the most light. And if we lift up the bird netting, you can see that we have at least 1 strawberry starting to grow here. That's been pollinated. I've been leaving this bird netting up to try to not hinder the pollinators at all for pollinating our strawberries, as the berries aren't formed quite yet. This trellis is definitely doing the best, I would say, out of all of them. The spinach is really starting to come up. They've formed their true leaves now and are working on a set of second true leaves. So it's not just these little spindly ones. And then the peas are actually doing really good, but they just are barely starting to reach the top. So this one's just not attached yet. I keep trying to move him up to see if they'll connect. One day he will. And then same thing on this other trellis. They are also about at the same stage. So this is our raspberry patch, and the raspberries are starting to form the little buds, which is really exciting to get all of the little raspberries coming along. You can see that it's just loaded with them. And then here is definitely our largest raised garden bed, and I tried to weed it as best I could the other day, but just to kind of show you a little overview of what's in here. We have a little volunteer raspberry, and then we have some cauliflower, and this is purple of Sicily cauliflower, and they are getting really large. These 2 especially are doing the best, but all of these have grown tremendously. And then I thought this was grass, And then I smelt it one day, and I actually think maybe it's a type of green onion or something like that, because this one's definitely not grass and it's an onion variety. So I think I'm gonna leave them and see how they do this year, see what we can get from them. And then over here we have 8 celery, and these are pink celery, and you can just barely see the pink tones to them. This is my very first year growing celery and cauliflower, so this bed's kind of more of an experiment bed than anything. But they have been out here for maybe a week now, and they look really good, so I'm hoping that they continue to grow for me. And then we have 2 little flower beds that I made that we'll see how they turn out. I've kind of planted random things in here just to kind of get some starts that have been gifted to me from other people's plants. We have some columbines and some daisies and some sedum and lilies. Then in this bed is the most exciting for me right now because it's probably doing the most in terms of growth. So in the far back we have some kale, and we have some spinach, and then oric, and then this row is the radishes, which I'm really excited about because we should be able to start harvesting them before too long. They're about the size of maybe a dime right now, or at least a few of them are. And so they're this beautiful cherry bell radish. So hopefully we'll be able to keep harvesting those into this early summer time. And then we have a little row of cute carrots that are coming up. This is our onion patch. Some of it has fallen over. I decided to split a bunch of it and give it as gifts to people. Then we have some of these purple and pink tulips. They are definitely starting to come to their last end, but they are really gorgeous. And I keep cutting from them to make little arrangements in my own garden. And then here are some alliums that are just starting to get some buds on them. You can just barely see them down there. And then this spot I just turned into a little flower bed area, and I put this really neat trellis in here. I planted some mini pumpkins underneath of it, so hopefully that will kind of fill in and be a really pretty section. And then this is just grass and weeds that I need to come and dig out. So down this row we do have hanging baskets. I have one that must be missing right here. And then at the very end we have, I'm learning it's kind of hard to see in the camera here, but we have 2 cherry bushes. So here is one, and there is one. They just kind of look like little sticks right now, but we just transplanted them and planted them in this corner, which I think will be kind of a fun addition and give us some more produce to play with. So then here is our main garden shed that keeps a lot of our lawn tools in it, so the lawnmower and weed whacker and stuff. Here is our rhubarb plant, which I will need to come out here and harvest again. Maybe we'll do that in this video. And then we have some lilies that are just starting to come up. Kona, what are you doing? Eating the grass. And then here are 3 large iris patches, which are really exciting, and this is kind of what I wanted to show you and kind of document in this garden tour. But all of these irises are going to be a really pretty dark purple color, and they're all just about ready to bloom. My neighbor's irises that are in a little bit more sun are currently blooming, and which makes me really excited for all of these to bloom. So this plant is completely loaded with buds, and then so are those 2. This is a trumpet vine, which it is May 20th, and it's just starting to get real leaves on it, which is kind of cool. And then we have 2 large patches of lilies that are starting to come up, or that were up but have just grown tremendously. And then this is a lavender clematis, which is starting to get a lot of new growth on it, especially down at the bottom. So over here, please don't mind the weeds and grass in this. I haven't necessarily had a lot of time to get to them. This is another rhubarb start that I propagated from the other plant. And then over here we have a blooming bleeding hearts, which is really starting to come to. It's a really small plant, but that's because I got it as a shared plant from my mom's garden. So this is just kind of a special little plant in this area. Then we still have the lungwort, which is still looking really good. There is a lot of grass in it that I need to come and weed out. You can see that I've tried to start doing some of the weeding. they're still making flowers, which is kind of impressive. So this is definitely a very long blooming plant. And then over here we have a hosta that's just starting to really flush out. And I think this is going to be a beautiful, huge hosta for this corner. So this is the front flower bed that I showed in the last garden tour. I have made a rock border out of these larger rocks that we had, and then I mulched it with grass clippings from when we mowed the lawn last, and there are 9 salvia plants, I believe, planted into this bed out front. This bed does not get any water, so unless it rains, but so salvia should be a good choice to keep it fairly drought friendly. We have 3 purple salvia, and then I alternated with 3 white salvia and then 3 more purple ones. And my idea here was that I really wanted to make large visual impacts, and so by grouping them together, hopefully it will attract the eye more and make that a nice focus point. But I thought that looked really pretty here. Now I have these type of flower beds on the other side of the house, and I'd love to make them consistent, but kind of at the moment I'm just kind of taking it as it comes because I don't really have a ton of time to dedicate towards fixing up all these beds. So I'm just kind of playing with this and managing it as we go throughout this year. I have a lot of my seed starts out right now. Most of the other plants are starting to die back. I had a lot of daffodils planted in those. Then over here, I guess I won't skip over this, I have 3 peach foxgloves, and this is a pink oriental poppy, which is going to be really pretty. A black-eyed Susan I moved over here that was planted in my front circle bed. This is a daisy, some rose plants, a pink echinacea, some more roses, and another rose. And then at the very end we have this really neat bush that I did not know was going to do this, but it's starting to get really pretty little pink flowers all over it, and it kind of looks like a honeysuckle flower. So I don't know what it's called, but it's really pretty. So then here is the front flower bed that I've spent a lot of time in this spring, trying to get kind of fixed up a little bit. And I talked about this in the last video, but I had all of these Queen of Night tulips planted, and the deer came and kind of demolished this half. But what I kind of wanted to show you guys is these Queen of Night tulips have changed so much, and if I have a clip from my last video, I'll include it here. Which are just this beautiful, gorgeous purple, black, maroon. It has some highlights of pink in it. It's just amazing. But these are almost black looking, which is really kind of neat. So then in the middle here we have these alliums, which are this really vibrant purple, which are just starting to open up. And I've put some rocks in my bird bath so that bees and butterflies can take a drink if they need to. And then of course we have the pansies planted around here, and then you can't really see them, but I've planted 6 white salvias around the outside of this and 4 purple ones in the middle. So I think once all of these kind of die back, that'll be a really nice addition. And the other thing we have planted out here are just a few little Johnny jump ups, which are going to be really cute and hopefully come back year after year. So that's this flower bed. I think it looks really cute and is doing really well. And here is a view from the back, and you can just see how beautiful these black Queen of Night tulips are with those purple alliums. I forgot to mention it when I went over this already, but we do have sempervivums planted, or hen and chicks planted throughout this little rocky garden area. So hopefully those will kind of fill out. I obviously want to put a different mulch in here other than grass clippings, but I just needed something fast and easy, and this is what was free, and I had plenty of, so I just put those in here to hopefully kind of retain some moisture in this bed, and I think it's doing really well. The salvia are all looking great. All right, here's my beautiful sister. We just picked a bunch of the rhubarb. Show them how much you got. Yeah. Woohoo! Woohoo!